Board of Village. Call the Village of Weston Board of Trustees in order. You all rise for this Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Let's see, roll call.
Maloney,
Here.
Sagami,
Here.
Cronin,
Here.
Ermeling. Here. Hardinger,
Present.
Pincinot,
Present.
and Wyland is excused.
Okay.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Perfect.
All right, were you just, I didn't hear you doing the Pledge of Allegiance.
My apologies.
All right, public comments. Any public comments? Any public comments? Anybody on social media, public comments? No? Okay, minutes from previous meetings. Number 4, approval, April 15th, 2024 Board of Trustees meeting. Pause. I had to throw that in there. That goes on my teleprompter, sorry.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
By Jim Pincinel and second by Ermeling. Anything more on the question? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, so carried. Old business, seeing that there's none, moving on to new business. Number 5, discussion and or action on president's appointments to committees, commissions, appointments, assignments, and nominations. Just before, if there's any clarifications here. Let's see, Husheng, we have 5 on the tourism commission, and since he's our CVB, participant for the village, let's put him on as the 6th commissioner for the CVB or for the tourism commission. So just remember, if you're voting on this whole thing, that'll be in there. If you saw that, we have a hotelier, Mary Hanford, from the Fairfield Inn. She's the general manager. Keith Mashalik, I called him last week and he just doesn't think he can make it. So, and I had a hard time getting a hold of him, but that's fine. I told him no, it's okay.
I have a quick question about that.
Yep, go ahead.
Nick is gone then?
Nick?
Wasn't there someone else on there who owned like the Super 8 and?
Nope. Nope. John was on there as the general manager of Holiday Inn. And when he
Okay.
left, he wanted to nominate Keith, but Keith never made a meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got Fairfield Inn, which is, they're part of the Jagorsey group,
Good
hotel group.
Okay.
And she was thrilled to death to be on here. And so yeah, I don't know if somebody got her a packet of stuff, but I sent.
We'll get her one.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see, that. Safer. The 2 additions are Mountain Bay Metro Police Commission and Mountain Bay Oversight Board, which basically stays the same. And then we still have in EMPD, finance, that's not closed out yet, and also the police commission. John Evans has resigned, that's why there's a vacancy there, and I don't believe we really should fulfill it. Go ahead, Jim.
On the tourism commission, is it appropriate to have you as the chair? I didn't know that the president could serve as a chair of the commission.
I can, and it's voted by the actual commission. So
Is that-
they voted me
Is
to
there
be
ordinance to
president.
say otherwise though?
I don't believe so.
That may be for committee, but not for commission.
Okay.
Maybe not commission. Okay,
Yeah,
very
committee,
well.
you're right. And I also did read some stuff in Rib Mountains a day or 2 ago. Several of their commissions are residents only, which I was kind of surprised. I think Jamie, we talked about it. And I don't know if that's an option we want, but I just was surprised that their planning commission has no elected officials on it. And let's see, I was moving up, coming back down. Commissioner of Weeds is me. Let's see, Fence Viewers is Steve Cronin and Barb is off. Community Life and Public Safety, that's a new Clips, is it a committee? It's a committee, right? Or a commission, okay, so Jim Pincinel will be the chair, Barbara Ermeling will be the vice chair. I don't think we've designated when that's gonna, occur. So it'd be maybe nice.
Until it's staffed, right?
Yeah, I didn't realize we had to get 5 people in there. Myself, Jamie, Jeremy Hunt, Josh Finke, and Roman McGuire are also part of that. I would like some direction on that, if you want to call me after the meeting on who you think should be on, if you have people, residents that, do we want to get somebody on there from the glass company, from Old Castle Glass, or do we have some hot spots in the area that we might want to get some people on? and maybe encourage some involvement there. So you can talk to me afterwards on that.
And I'm making an advertisement too that we'll put out on
Yes,
Facebook
that's
if
right,
there's
that's right.
community interest too.
Then we also, at the last meeting, and I was not here, but we took the finance and human resources and combined them. Finance was 5 and human resources was 7, so we kept it at 7. And Steve Minell, if you saw the corrected one today, he is gonna remain on there because Dave Deason was on there, but Dave is on planning commission also. John Evans will also stay on there. I talked to Yi Zong today, and he's fine with not being on there. And Dave Deason, a lot of times didn't show, but I'll make sure I talked to him. I did not get a hold of him today. I tried, but I couldn't get him. Let's see, and then the board vice president, I'm changing to Steve Cronin. So first it was Barb, then Kushang, and now Steve. And I'll take any questions or whys that you want. Go ahead, Michael. I'm sorry I didn't get you on any committees.
No, I'm good. I'm on all of them. For the joint review board, the person listed for the DC Everest School District is no longer an employee of the school district, so
Oh, okay.
that one should be updated.
So we do need to add somebody, right? Or no?
Yeah,
DC
you
Everest.
just need to have a different
Yep, got
different
it.
name there.
Okay.
Spets?
Yeah, so Spets comes off, you mean?
That comes off, yeah.
Could we get, since there's been some discussion already with the new administrator there, wouldn't he be to write Casey Nye?
Yeah, we can ask, and I
Let's ask
think
and see if he'll be on.
since it's their appointment, usually they can even send whoever that representation is
Yeah,
that
okay.
day.
Okay. Hushain?
Mark, Jeff Zuckerster, you know
Yeah.
that, right?
Yep.
He was kind of interested
Mhm.
to be
Okay.
involved.
Okay.
He's in the village.
Yeah.
And I don't think we have anybody from that area or anyway. you know, he's,
To be on the clips or on the joint review?
okay.
On the clips?
Join
I'll give Jeff a
review.
call. I know Jeff very well.
I
Yeah,
know you did.
Yeah. I'll call him.
I think he make good.
Yeah.
person.
I do too. I think he just would like.
May I?
Yes, you may.
Shannon Grabko is a school board member as well. Maybe she might be a good option for joint review board.
Okay. I think, Jamie, would you have that discussion with somebody over there? Okay.
I'll ask
Okay,
the
That's a
superintendent.
good thought too. Good. So just forward some names and then we'll get them appointed at the next meeting. We can have this done at the next meeting.
I would like to second that. I think Shannon would be, and not maybe
Yeah.
just for that, but any of these openings. I
Okay,
think we should
that's
reach
fine.
out to her.
I'll ask her for that one and we'll see if she wants to be on the joint review board. That might be
Thank you.
assistant superintendent DC. So does it have to be an employee of DC Everest
It
or?
has to be a it's their representative. So
Okay.
they have to
He has to
determine who
sign
their
off on it.
representative
Okay.
is.
Well, we should ask that question. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
bring their own
Yep.
people.
Yep.
Whoever they.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, good. Any questions or do you want to vote first to see if it flies? Then have questions or you're gonna have questions first? Hearing none, looking for a motion to approve. By Jasper, second by Barb. Anything on the question? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, so carried. So I'd be looking for some names there too. And then I think we sometimes have some help wanted type ads and you can kind of build up a little bank there too. Sometimes we get pretty lucky with that, so that's good. People want to serve. And this Mary Hancock, I was just really happy that she wanted to serve and I said, hey, you should want to know where your money's going, so. All right, enough of that. Let's see, number 6. Discussion and possible action regarding proposal for lease of space on the Enterprise Way Water Tower. And Enterprise Way, Michael, is at
The
the
business park.
business park,
From
right,
middle
the big
school
one
there.
there, okay. And what I read was somebody has a tenant in there that they want to get them better Wi-Fi.
It would be the backup internet provider.
Okay, so TDS is out there, was my first question, okay. And then a backup inter, okay.
I thought he said he's providing a free internet.
He could provide free internet for park spaces or the village. We don't have a need for that, but they are charging this customer that they would be providing the backup service to.
Right.
I just want to make sure we have the agreement the way we want it, not that 2 years down the road, we're saying, oh, we should have did it this way.
Well,
It's worded
if
correct.
this is allowed up there, and the trouble we're in at the other two, the one behind 5,500, a lot of apparatus was put up there. that we didn't know about it. A lot of different signals or, you know, flags were turned on and we didn't know about it. We're, you know, we tried to recover some of that money. It got really ugly and it still is. It's still not settled. So I don't know if this, allowing them to put this little thing up there allows them then to, okay, now we're here, we can start selling more.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right next to
I
29,
want, if
yeah.
the lease states, the lease is
Mhm.
going to be for
Mhm. Yep.
one, nothing of any
Yeah.
changes or whatever,
Mhm.
that has to be agreed upon. I don't wanna
Okay.
be spending lawyer
Right.
fees for
Well, we're still
another
doing,
one.
we're still
I know.
not, we're not collecting our rent right now.
Right.
Steve?
I guess this is more of a question for Michael, but is there any concerns with damage? Because the other spots are actual towers. This would be on the water tower, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So
What-
I
What's
guess,
the one in the Kennedy Park? It's not a water tower?
That's a cell tower too.
It's a cell tower, just like 5,500.
so my question would be, is there any concerns with damage to our equipment or anything that would impede anything that we ever have to do over there in the event of an emergency or something happening?
So there is equipment on the Everest water tower, that, Network Professionals and I'm trying to think of the other one. There are entities that have stuff on the Everest water tower. And I guess we just make it so in the lease, when we have to, you know, do maintenance, we have to repaint it, we have to do those things, they acknowledge that, it's up to them to, allow us to do that work and they'll have to move their equipment while that work proceeds and then they can relocate.
Are these
Once that work is
in the
done.
lease?
What was
They all
that?
have to be written in the lease.
Yeah, that'd have to be written in the lease,
Yeah.
yes, we,
And they approached us, of course.
correct.
It's too bad we don't have a NPR representative here to maybe ask him some questions. Who would know? I think $500 a month is really, really cheap. We have a secondary provider up in Merrill. And I know we're paying close to $3,000 a month. And it might be more stuff. We might be having more stuff in there. I don't know. But
I would say that this provider is charging more to the customer.
Mhm.
I would also share that Michael and I met with them and we started at a higher number. That higher number they felt did not meet their expectations for their customer. And I said, then put together in a proposal what you would be willing, and that's how we got to the 500.
Where did we start at 1,000, 2,000?
I started at 800 a month.
Oh, 800, okay.
What's the life,
Of what
what's
they
the life
charge.
left over on that water tower out there currently? I mean, how long do those,
I'd say we probably still have 40 years,
That's our new one.
yeah.
Yeah.
When
I mean, that little bit of money is minuscule to have problems, you know, so it's $6,000, yeah, we're gonna get $6,000. Well, now do we have to, in the back of our minds, are they selling more, are they getting more? You know, if that's where they went to, I'd say we stall or say no. That'd be my opinion, I think for $6,000, I just, and then people up there, whoever brought liability up, you know, Jim, go ahead.
Where does the money go for this water tower lease? So it's $1, $500 or $1 million.
It probably would go into just miscellaneous revenue because it wasn't something that was budgeted for. So this year probably would go into miscellaneous revenue.
Should it go to the water utility?
Oh,
Good.
Michael is correct. It probably should because it would be on the water utility.
Yeah, makes
Yes,
sense.
thank you, Michael.
But who plows it? Who plows around it? The water utility?
Yeah, they'll,
The water utility plows around it? Seriously? Cuts the grass?
that's one of the sites where
It'd be
Riverside
nice
mows.
if we paid our $6,000 back to the grass cutters, park department. Maybe we should go to the park department.
Yeah, we have Riverside mow that lawn. They mow a lot of our wells and lift station sites.
Okay, Hushain?
There should be annual escalation here, 2%, 3% every year for the term of this.
I thought one of them was a 10% override in 5 years, but was that the second one?
That's the second one.
That's the
Sorry.
second one, but that one,
Mhm.
for the first 5 years, we get nothing.
Right.
But we should add it, it should be annually 2%. So by end of 10 years, in 5 years, we got 10% of that.
Yeah, so this one's a 3-year with the option to renew after 3 years.
Yeah, we need 2% annual increase if we go with this.
not to be a stick in the mud here, but if this is something that we wanna do where we negotiate this, is this something that would need to go into closed session, so we're not
Probably.
saying these thoughts in
It's-
open session?
It's almost too bad. I mean, so, you know, so our company actually went to entities to get things. I'm a little surprised that they're not asking us for help, you know, hey, help, we need some help, we need some, we need to constantly be, you know, connected and can you help us out here? You know what I mean? It's just kind of odd that they're coming to us, which gives me the thought that are they gonna sell more or use the space to sell more? And then we won't know.
They did say that that's not their intent. This is a fairly large customer
Mhm,
that would be new to the village.
mhm.
Um,
Oh, new to the village. Oh, that makes more sense now. Okay.
but
Yeah.
they, at this moment, they didn't allude to that they would, because I did ask that question, and would they market additional once they had it?
Oh, wow. I don't know.
Move to direct staff to pursue a lease agreement with Ethoplex for installation of communication equipment on Enterprise-Way Water Tower. The agreement should read at $1,000 per month with an escalation clause to come back to the board for review. In that agreement should also, after the board approves it, include a hold harmless clause for the village, which is approved by Attorney Yady.
Is there a second by Jasper on the question? On the question, would we take the $500 in package mailing? Cause I mean, we could barter, you know, the extra $500 and, you know, take $1,000 worth of packaging mailing.
I don't believe the Parks Department can use that for plowing.
Probably not. Okay, all right, got it.
My-
Question, Barb?
Yeah, I guess I was trying to read again through here, I read and I forgot. Is there anything in here that if we need to do maintenance on the water tower, that they would, you know, remove their stuff, get it out of our way?
I believe that was the intent in the, how Michael had.
How you had it, yep, I agree.
Yeah, so yes, that should be included, but that's, again, why I wanted to come back to the board so we could talk about it and review any of those details. Good question.
You have something, Jamie?
No, sorry.
That's right.
Cause I
Okay,
mean, if
yep.
we got an agreement, it should be in
Yeah,
there.
Did
Shane?
you have escalation, 2% escalation in your
We did
motion?
not state a percent, but when staff brings it back,
It could, yeah.
it could very well be 2%. They
2 or
might have
3%
22%.
is a standard
Yeah.
procedure, 2
Yeah.
or 3%.
Well, we already doubled it, but yeah.
I would just like to make it noted that if this comes back to us for further discussion, if it's gonna be in, as far as negotiating terms, it should be in closed
Yeah,
session,
yeah, that's fine.
not here.
Okay. So any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried, thank you. Discussion and possible action regarding proposal for co-location of cell equipment on a village water tower. Should that be one L? Or no, co-location? That's what kind of got me screwed up. Anyway, so discussion and possible action regarding proposal for co-location of cell equipment on a village water tower. This is the one at either Everest Avenue over by the healthcare facility. And then where was the other spot? Where?
Renaissance is.
Yeah, Renaissance, that was one of them. Was there two?
And then Summit Ave is over by Alderson and Weston Avenue, kind of in the
Right.
backyard of those
Okay.
houses.
And you want to do one both or one or the other?
One or the other.
Oh, okay. Steve?
Aren't we planning to move that?
Summit eventually would get torn down,
So what's the timeline look like for that?
probably, I'd say 5 years-ish.
Oh.
Which one?
Summit,
Oh, Summit. Oh, wow. I
So,
mean, East Everest is much newer.
yeah,
yeah, cause wasn't that gonna move by the hospital?
we put a new one up by the hospital. correct.
Okay. I do pay attention to your
Yeah, no,
presentation.
it works.
And this is T-Mobile, right?
This is T-Mobile. This would be cell.
This
And-
is, yeah.
Unlike the previous one, this needs to have cabinetry that would be installed on the ground.
Inside. Inside that,
It would not have to be inside the tower. It
Oh.
would be separate, but it would be on a 12 by 20 ground lease space for that cabinet equipment.
they were offering $1,200 monthly. This is the one that, what are we getting, $700 or $800 behind 5,500, I think right now? That's the one that we caught them doing a whole bunch more. So we say yes to T-Mobile, can they start selling a whole bunch of stuff up there? I have no idea.
Well, that's the question.
Yeah,
I just think it should be in our agreements.
and they're saying 2% every year for 5 years.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
You got a
10%
10%.
They got a 10%.
Per term, the term is 5 years,
Right.
so it's 2%.
Yes, right.
And this is not-
Yeah.
Again, it's minuscule to what could go on up there and what they could make.
I just, I guess on these agreements, I wish we would have something that
Mhm.
says that if they add stations or whatever the heck they are, that, this needs to be brought forward
Yeah.
for consideration or something.
We would never know. We wouldn't know how to test it. We wouldn't know how to get into their business.
Well, at
You know,
least if
so-
it comes up, we've got some legal ground to say
Well,
something.
the last time that I was up there with Matt Eady and these other attorneys and these cell people and Donner and myself for a whole day. I kept hearing stuff about how, they want this public property. There's a reason why they want the public property and not private property. And I can't remember it now, but the private property, I think you can go ahead and get at it more. You can sell it and do different things, where public property is like 100 years. It's forever. And they can count on you being there at that height on that piece of equipment forever. So it's, I didn't understand why they kept coming after public property instead of private. Because they went over by Arrow Bar and went on private, right? That tower's up in the air and that's private. So they don't have to deal with us, yeah. Anyway,
Authority to direct staff to pursue a lease agreement with T-Mobile for installation of cell tower equipment on East Everest Ave Water Tower for the amount of $3,500 monthly, 5-year term, 10% escalation per term. With the same hold harmless agreement and other attachments that were in the last motion for the last tower.
and Matt Eady reviewing that.
Correct.
Yep,
I'll
okay.
second that.
So a motion by Pincinel, second by Cronin. Any more on the discussion?
The one thing that I wanna add is to make sure that if we decide to move that tower, that they're well aware that that's
Yeah,
in the plans and
Jim said Everest Tower, so that one we're.
Yeah, we only want to be on Everest. We don't even want to play with Summit. Yep.
I just wanna make sure. I didn't wanna,
Okay.
I don't wanna be responsible for any costs there if that happens.
So hearing no more discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you. 8, discussion and or action on Kennedy Park marketing proposals. It's the park department, who proposes E. Morty and the fun makers versus the Stevens Point one?
So was the Parks Committee.
Oh, they did, okay.
Yep, at the meeting. So we had 2 proposals. We reviewed the one from Baker Street and the one from G Morty.
They're about $1,500 apart, right? Or $2,000.
Yeah, but Baker Street is proposing to do a feasibility study. If you look at the proposal, it's not really the marketing proposal. It's a feasibility study first, and then in the future after that, do the marketing proposal. And then they also have a lot of big numbers in there to oversee the project for multiple years.
What was this, Stevens Point? group?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought when I read through them both, I just thought the Stevens Point one was a little bit more polished, a little more professional. But you know what, a marketing firm, yeah, they should be all over the board. They should just be kind of wild. Anyway, I'm sorry. Let's get it up on the, let's get it up for and then discuss, okay? So a motion would be appropriate.
You move to approve.
I move to approve the proposal for G Morty and the makers.
By Wyland, second by Ermeling. Okay, now on the discussion, Steve?
Is there a reason that they decided that, because we didn't ask for a feasibility study, it was just a marketing study?
Right, so I talked to them and they do this. They work with nonprofits specifically. And they're not necessarily familiar with our area. So they're trying to determine what our area could support as far as donations, fundraising, et cetera. So the thought by the committee was, well, they just want to do a feasibility study so they know the area and know what the area can raise for our project, but possibly other projects too. So we'd be paying for a feasibility study to study the area and how much we could fundraise. The park committee thought that didn't make sense. Like, why are we paying for this study, to see what our area could produce? Because we know that we can't produce it necessarily in a year or 2 years. It's good. It's a multi-year project. That's why we put in that phasing plan. So I think it's with our youth groups and the fundraising group that's already put together, this plan's not gonna happen overnight. it's gonna take multiple years, you know, to build it. So I think between all the youth groups, the village, et cetera, that, you know, we can make progress on it without doing that study. I mean, we know it's gonna take a large gift.
It looks like it's also the way they operate. So, you know, if you're saying that they don't know our area, and they're what, 35 minutes south? They also don't know the 16 or 17 different references they showed in Oklahoma and Texas and, you know, Missouri. So they must go on a new deal with the feasibility first. That must be just their way that they operate. Where I think Mortensen's, they're just more around here, more local.
Yeah, and we don't know the connections that each group has.
Right.
You know, so when we sent this out, I'm like, so the village has connections, I know people. But each youth group has connections to the community, to businesses, et cetera, that know the capabilities of where they're at. I mean, you know, we have youth hockey, came in with a proposal for just under $1 million to do the hockey area at Kennedy Park. They're talking, well, we could probably start construction this fall.
Yeah. Well, we
I mean, that's huge.
somebody needs to talk to Lindsay Lewitsky. Get her on board. Okay. So do we have a motion in a second? Yeah.
Yeah.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so carried. Good job. Number 9, discussion and or action on Weston Avenue West Phase bid results. I would entertain that we would do 9 through 13 as one. And go with staff's recommendation. I know it's a lot of money, but if you read through it, I'm pretty sure we're probably gonna go with staff recommendation.
Make that motion.
To do 9 through 13. Oh my God. Motion by Jasper, second by Ermeling. Any more in the discussion? Jim?
The highlighted items, was there a reason why there's some stuff in the chart that's red?
Yeah, I saw that too, and I figured it out that I thought that those were the low key denominators for that line. Or no?
Sometimes there was a math error on the actual bid sheet
Okay.
that was turned in. So, a lot of these times they're sitting in their truck.
Yeah, I thought those were some great bids.
And sometimes they do a slight math error as they fill it in.
And that's why it was red.
And that's why it's, so the red is the right number, so it just means it would have been different than what would have
It was
been.
physically submitted.
Yeah.
Right,
Understood.
okay.
Got it. So like you actually added it and fixed it, even though Excel.
Guy from AECom would have done it, but yeah.
Any more in discussion?
Just exciting that the bids came in under estimate.
Yes, very huge dollars there, huge. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Yes. Wow, this is a half an hour here, people. All right, remarks from trustees. Jim?
All 4 of the play structures, that are Wisconsin surplus have active bids totaling over $2,680 on them. Which is gonna save taxpayers thousands of dollars, and where do those dollars go? Then back to parks?
Yeah, that'd be a park thing, right?
It would go to general revenue because it's not budgeted. We already have a budget for parks this year, so similar to what Jamie said with, you know, any other funds, it would.
You know, this
Be
was.
quiet, cause Mike has got something else
This
to say.
started with the trustees, so it was a trustee idea. And I don't see a fund for the trustees, you know.
You just got a
Your
month.
cup is running.
Remarks don't pay for future ones, so, okay, good.
I was just say, generally, when we sell any of our capital equipment, which parks equipment would be considered, it would go back to our capital equipment fund.
Well, that's what I was
Right,
just gonna
right.
comment about, shouldn't it go back to the capital equipment fund? So we don't have to borrow so much for the next time around.
This is under remarks.
Yes.
That was Michael's remark.
Remarks, it's your remarks, no discussion. It's all right, I did it, I asked the question, so. Any more, Jim?
I have none.
Jasper? No, sir. Stephen?
On that note, I'm just curious what we would have, is there a way to know what that would have, what we would have gotten that if we would have scrapped it ourselves?
Remarks?
And you don't have to answer it, it's just a remark, or more or less maybe a staff referral, I guess, but I'm just curious if that we could get that.
I
number
think
ourselves.
scrap steel is currently around 40 cents a pound. So, yeah, definitely, we have one bid that's 1575 for one pay structure. We surpassed that probably structures on that one.
Okay.
Touche?
Well past scrapping.
Touche?
2 weeks ago, two of the YMCA members reached me. One of them was Jeff,
Is old priest here? Yep.
if we can build the pickleball court instead of Miller Park, build it at YMCA.
Mhm.
And I said I'll bring it to the board.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure that's feasible things for us to do. Because YMCA, if we put money in there, they should open it to the public, not just for their member.
Right.
And the other thing is the location they're proposing, there's 2 houses across the street and 1 house on the east side of it.
Mhm.
Unless they have land to move it back, I'm not sure.
Right.
Anyway,
Okay.
I thought I'd just bring it up.
Nope, yeah, and I've gotten quite a few calls and my neighbor stopped over and talked to me too. So, good. Barb?
No, other than,
Okay. On the May agenda, my remarks are, we will have a closed session for our 6-month, what our thoughts are with our new administrator. I know mine. I would imagine all of yours. But it would, then next year we'll do a yearly only. But this one here, we did a 6-month and then end of the year. And it might be just a great, you know, it might not, I don't believe it's gonna be a whole lot of paperwork and a whole lot of different stuff. I think the annual one, we could get into that then. But just a little freshen up, a little how we doing type of thing. So we'll have a little closed session part on that. And for the life of me, I have 2 things here.
Mr. President,
Yes,
would HR put something together before we met on that?
they could if they want, but
I don't think that,
yeah.
that,
Well, we've got something that's coming over here that I want to furnish to the HR is in finance. Is something that I believe, Jamie, you have now? Yep, and I think I have too. We got it from Rothschild. And I think I'm gonna also entertain it to Safer. And then we should maybe look at it here too, but they're currently using it for their fire chief, I believe, and their police chief. And now that it's Metro, you know, it's I think this would be nice. And so we should just review that. That's what we're gonna look at. We can take some time, but then it should probably go to HR for the annual side. And we'll go with that. Yeah,
just to keep it tidy.
sounds good.
Would you like me to forward that to the board from?
Yeah,
Rothschild?
could you? Yeah, just so they can all kind of dive into it. Oh,
Yeah.
here, I got it now. We did get something that we're gonna put on the next, we're gonna put on the May agenda. Is we had an individual in the area, not in Weston, I believe, that has a business that asked about renaming this building after Detective Weiland. And I had a lot of questions on it. Our current new police, you know, chief has looked at it. We've kind of weighed in on it. You know, under the horrible circumstances that it could happen again, now what?
mhm.
And then there's also 3 other people that lost their lives that day too. Now, this is remarks only. Now, if we think a park should be renamed somewhere, maybe a Mockmuller or something, I'm just saying that then we could do. So I got a head shake. Did you see that? Did you see that? I said, you went like this, and then I said Mockmuller. So it was like a plus sign, but anyway, so just a remark from me that maybe that would dovetail into that. And then I know some people have talked to me about pickleball, actually quite a few, about Mockmuller or a new proposed name, who knows? And I think that'd be fantastic. I did not realize that there's 500 members in just one of the associations here. And it's going up like crazy, yeah.
And I think, I know it's not my turn for remarks, but I think Mac Mueller,
Yeah.
remembering that, changing the name, I think would be absolutely great.
Mhm.
Would be a good thing.
Yeah, we are, another remark, we are talking to Kara, Jason's widow, on the monument that's outside of the safety building right now. So it should not stay there, you know, whether it be a fire or whatever. And we really, most feel it, and she agrees that it should go over to Rothschild, because that may someday move. So they're talking about that right now, where that should go. Apparently there was 2 of them. And she had one that she moved and it broke quite a bit, so
What would the thought be of keeping it in Old Weston per se? Not taking over Rothschild, maybe bringing it here.
Well, not here,
Or the park.
but maybe the park.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe
there you
a
go.
park, yeah.
The park?
Well,
Yeah.
that's up to her. She gets to weigh in on that.
Yep.
And we also, we didn't realize it, but Jason's revolver was still in service. And one of the officers had it and wanted it bad. And we felt it was proper to tell her that it was still in service. And you know, that the only place it would go, because we're getting all new weapons. We approved, all officers are getting a new 45 Glocks and at $409 a piece. And we're gonna actually get more money back for the old ones because we got such a good deal on buying the new ones. And they'll all have the same weapons. But with that in mind, Kara has asked for it back. So it's just remarks, and I think that's where it should go, back to her. So that's normally what you do. And a lot of us are scratching our head because we don't know how that happened, how it didn't go back to her.
Just as a Ron, remarks, I'm just kind of curious who pitched the 45s?
Who's what?
Who pitched the 45s?
The officers did.
The officers
Yep,
did?
the officers did. Yep, they have,
It was plus P rounds, higher mag capacity, higher stop.
yeah, under the whole remark thing, I'll
Right.
talk to you later, but it's, there was 9mm and 45s and
Yeah.
40s.
Yeah.
And then they went with the 45s.
It
I
went with
think,
the 45.
I think the 45s were, EMPD, and I believe the 9mm were Rothschild.
Awesome.
But, and then they're gonna get a test gun with a red eyesight, and they're gonna get just one and have all the officers, you know. And then that might be in the future, so,
That's cool.
yeah, so that's the end of my remarks. So did I cover everything for May then, right? Yeah. I think so, yeah. So our next board, our future items, the next meeting date is Monday, May 20th, 2024, 6 PM. And there's a couple things that'll be in the agenda for that session. Steve?
Does Jamie have any remarks?
Does what?
Does Jamie have any remarks?
Oh, Jamie, any remarks? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just curious if there was still talk about Jason's memorial rock going to Kennedy Park. Is that still an option maybe?
Yeah, I'm sorry, we might have been talking too low. That right now is being talked about. Kara is talking to Chief Hunt. And they are deciding where the best place is to go with that.
Okay,
It's kind of in their court right now. And I'll update the board May 20th at our next meeting. Okay,
perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
with all that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn at 5:37 by
So moved.
Cronin, seconded by Jasper. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Bye.
Carried. Thank you all. That was